Okay.
Good evening. How you all doing? I want to show you how to strip a floor. And the way I go about stripping a floor is that, first of all, I call some alligator stripping boots. I put these on to keep from stripping the floor. As I strip the floor, it keeps you from falling. The floor gets very gets very slick when you use the stripper. And another thing that I use outside the boots to hold me up on the strip is that I use latex gloves. I put my latex gloves on to get started because you're dealing with stripper that can agitate your hands, cause your hands to get hard, burn if you got cuts and sores on them. And what I use is I got a 55-gallon Butte trash can that I use. And what I do is I take this trash can that's using a large area. I use this because I do a large area in different stores, and I usually do big commercial stores. And so I use a 55-gallon trash can, and what I usually do is I fill it up with water. You can see the water in here. You can see the water in here. Bring it to me.
I can see it.
And what I do is I fill it up to this line here. And once I fill it up with water, I use cold water. Sometimes a lot of people like to use warm water, but I found out when you use warm water, it clutters up the wax that usually be on your floor. So I usually use cold water. It works better for me and the type of machine that I use. And as they're stripping the store floor, this is the stripper that I use, which is a 5-gallon stripper. And I usually fill it up with my 55-gallon of water. And it's called Seminize Grip Strip. It is a good strip. I like using it. It does a real good job than breaking down the wax on the floor. And usually what I do, I take and pour it in this 55-gallon trash can. I am getting ready to get set up to strip this floor. Be careful pouring this in. You should have safety glasses, but I've been doing this for about 21 years. But accidents still can happen, but just be careful when you pouring this stripper in. All right. Once you do that, I have this orange bucket here that I usually keep with me. 2-gallon bucket. This is what I usually throw down the spread with when I get ready to strip the floor. I kind of just mix it in, get it ready. And this is what you're going to use to start your process of stripping a floor. And it's always good to have a spread mop. This is my green mop. This is usually what I spread with when I lay the stripper down on the floor. You'll see the process that I go through. So it's good to have a spread mop to spread it and rub it in. And I also have an applicator that will lay it down for me, but it's not as good as I like it to be is when I'm doing it manual. And another thing that stripping the floor is, it's always good to have a take-up. This is called a guzzler. Once you have put it on the floor and your stripper has been laid down, now if you can remember when I was talking about the green spread mop, I would take this mop and spread the stripper to the floor and apply it. Want to get your edges very well. You want to work it in there. In a pattern. And if you can take long strides, that's fine. You're just only applying the stripper to the floor so that it can soak and get the old wax up. Make sure it's in your corners. It's very important that you get your corners. Now that we have applied the stripper, you can see it sitting on the floor. Watch it. You will let that sit around about 10 minutes. Let it soak in and you will get your scraper. And you will clean your combs. Now this is how your combs should look once you have scraped. Your corners out. All right, the next process after we have let it sit, we will take our machine, start it up, and you will go down the floor. All right, now we back. We have stripped this floor down with the strip machine, 300 tractor. Now once you have stripped it down, this is the way it should look. And what you do is you take your edges, as I was telling you about this squeezer. This is what I usually use it for. To squeeze down my edges, pull all of my water from the edges. That works very well for me. Get your edges, pull out the water from the corners that you cannot get to. And you just angle it and get as close as you can, like you did with your strip machine. You also can use a black pad and a sidewinder small slang machine if you're doing a small area, hallway, a break room, or a home VCT tile, something that's real small. You can use a slang machine with a black pad. This is what I do to pull everything out since it's such a large area. I just walk with it, pull it out in front of me. Once I have done that, I set my squeeze aside. This is the guzzles that I was telling you about. You don't have to worry about it running down with no battery or anything like that. It has a squeegee on the bottom, and it has a pump that takes up the excess stripper. So you pull it up, set it, and you walk with it. And you will hear it pumping and sucking the stripper up. Very nice machine made by Aztec. I love it. As doing this is how clean your floor should come. Come out as real nice and clean. You walk up and down and get it all taken up. Get all your excess, everything that you see. This is how nice your floor should turn out. Once you have done that, I was telling you about the blue mop and the clear water. If you're doing a small area, you can use this in this form. Clean water. Squeeze it out. And you will want to clean your floor excess. You will want to get your edges, go down with your bleed outs, your corners. You want to mop out, frame it around, and your edges, same way. Always keep your mop bucket in front of you. I am going to wrench it out one more time and go to the front and work my way back. I have cleaned both of my sizes, so I stay in the center and I will connect and wrench my floor very well. This process is just a little bit slower, but it does a very good job. Now he's going to go down in that corner and show you how clean and nice that corner is. He's going to walk right down the sides. That's how nice and clean this floor is. Now there was another way I was telling you that you could take this machine here. It's an advanced auto scrubber. I use an auto scrubber. I fill it up with just clean, plain water. And as I said, when you strip one of these floors, you can use called a black pad. This is a 20-inch. You can get a 20-inch slang machine. It's called a slow speed buffer that will strip it in another form or fashion way when you have a very small area. By me doing a big area commercial, this is what I use. So you will use this. Put the pad back on. And you will fill it up with plain water. And you want to make sure that it's pretty well charged up. And you can also clean the floor very quick and fast with this type of machine. But make sure you have a charged up battery, because when you do large areas like this, when you do a half of a store, sometimes your battery will go down on you if you're not moving fast enough. You turn both buttons on, hit the button, get close to the edge, and it will dry. It gives a second clean. Does a very good job. Get close to the edge. Close as you can. Now if you look at that floor, it's not wet. It's totally dry. It's clean. It did a second clean with the black pad up on the bottom of it. It does an excellent job. Now that is a clean floor. So what you would do is let it sit and dry. This is where your fan come in at. You would take your fan and put on the floor.
Go.
All right, this is the next process. Is drying the floor. We're gonna use this fan, which is a Mini-Man fan. We're gonna use this to blow dry the floor so that we can get ready to apply the wax to the floor to make it nice and pretty. So I will plug this fan up and we'll let it blow on the floor. Turn it down real low, small area, let it take its time and dry while that you are working on the other area in sections as you strip. Thank you. All right, after the fan has dried the floor, it should look just like this. It should be good and dry. Now what you want to do next is you want to take and apply your wax to the floor. So as I was saying, and I showed you earlier in the video, there is a blue and white neon mop that you will use with your trash bag in it so that it keeps the trash from getting on your floor. This is the simple way to wax the floor after you have went through the steps that I have showed you. You want to just squeeze it out, get close to where you're going to apply your wax. And what you want to do is take and lay it down, and you want to edge your wax apply to the floor. You want to do your corners. Same way, edge. Around. Set your pattern. Mop flat down on the upper knob and spread. Keep you a pattern all time as you spread your wax and apply it to a dry surface floor. And you will walk backwards and walk your way out. After you get halfway to your surface of the floor, you want to take your mop and flip it over and use the rest of the wax that's on the other side of the mop. You don't have to go all the way to the side because you're already edged. That's how you apply your wax to the floor. Now, as I was saying earlier, when you're doing a large area, commercial stores, 23,000 square foot, you don't want to use a mop to wax your floor. You just want to use it in the areas that you can't get, around the edges and the corners. Usually what I use is this wax applicator that I introduced you to by Aztec, which is a good unit. Plugs it up, work by batteries, 36-inch, has a microfabric cloth on it. And this is the quickest way that I do a floor when I'm waxing it commercial. There is an on and off, prime and run button on this unit here. You will turn it on, run. If not any wax in it, you will turn it to the left to the prime, and you will hear that. That's to prime the wax through the unit. After you have put a 5-gallon box of wax on top, put your hose on it, down into the box. It has a stream on it that filters the unit. And you will set your dial. And every 12 o'clock, it puts out the wax. And this is how it goes. And it's very quick. All I do is pull it and walk with it. And it stays even and very smooth. You do one side, you do the other side. You don't want to walk on your wax. You want to leave a pass area for you to go through and come back down. Pull the unit. That is how you apply your wax to the floor. And once you apply the wax to the floor, make sure that you have ventilation doing this job. And make sure that you have enough air. A lot of times, take the same fan that you use to dry the floor with, take and put it in front, a couple inches back from your wax that's on the floor to dry the wax with the fan. So that if you put it too close, it will buckle your wax. It will leave spots in front of the wax on the floor, which that wouldn't look good, and you'll have to take it back down and redo it. This is a good job if you like working. And if you like working, this is what you do. I've been doing this for 21 years, and I've been taught by an older group in a generation to how to do this. And I really appreciate that over the years of learning how to do this over 21 years. And I went out and opened my own business up, and I do it all over the country, everywhere. Florida, Nashville, Tennessee, Louisville, Kentucky, all the way up to Knoxville, Memphis. Everywhere where there's a VCT tile floor needs to be done commercial, I have loved to go and do it. I want to pass this on to those that wants to know how to strip a floor, those that would love to know how to do it and want to do it, and you also can make a good living at it. You can do this. Follow those steps, you can't go wrong. I opened my own business up called Win Flow Care from out of Nashville, Tennessee. Subscribe to this channel. Thank you and have a good day. Get the job done.